Go.
All right, guys, we're setting what's called linker adit. Now, I'll let you know an adit is a horizontal entrance to a mine. It was used mostly for drainage and to allow circulation through the mine to keep that mine a nice, cool temperature. The mine here is roughly 50 to 60 degrees throughout the entire year. You'll also notice on the left and right of me is this white-looking rock on the walls. That is called white quartz. Back then, a local farmer by the name of Matthias Beringer discovered white rocks in his creek that had gold in it. So they discovered that white quartz actually had gold inside of it. So when they were actually underground mining or lode mining, they were looking for this white rock itself because it had gold in it. So they would take out this rock later on to test it for gold. And as we start walking through the mine, you'll notice that the entrance right now is roughly about my height, close to 6 feet. But back then it was actually much smaller. It was roughly 4 foot tall and maybe 2 feet wide, and it was an oval shaped. So most guys would be in here hunched over 12-hour days, 6 days a week, working underground. If you'll just follow me, see what the mine looks like. At the beginning, you'll notice most of this wood here. The reason there's this wood here is because the rock around here is called soft rock, and it's very easy to crumble or cave in. So you had to add this extra support beams right here to make it safer to walk through. Later on, you'll probably notice less and less of this wood because we're switching to what's called hard rock, which needs less support than soft rock to hold in place. And then when you get further in, you'll start noticing on the walls and the ceiling more of this white rock or white quartz. That is what they're looking for. A prime example of that is this location right here called the stope. What they were doing when they were digging out the adit, they found the white quartz on the ceiling, decided to take out a test sample of this hole right here to test it for gold. The stope is a term used for a test sample that they take out underground of a quartz vein. So that's why this is called a stope. So they took out this hole, tested it for gold, determined there wasn't enough gold in this quartz vein to warrant taking out further, so they stopped. So that's why you can see right here that this is all they took out. So this vein of quartz above our heads was not worth it. And then as I climb up into the stope was left alone. So this was actually the original height of the veins, as you can see from right here. So we actually had to lower the floor for better access. So as I'm standing here, this is what it would look like for most miners back then while working underground. Get back down here. All right, and we're going to continue on what's called linker shaft. That is one of the 37 shafts that were dug on this property. I will mention a shaft is a vertical entrance, so it's up and down, that they used originally to get in and out of mines. Later on, if a shaft proved profitable enough, they'd build an adit for better access to that particular shaft. Now you probably notice that there's more wood in this shaft particularly. That is because we added that for extra safety itself. It wasn't necessarily needed, but we added that just to be extra cautious. Now, we are at linker shaft. Back here you will see the bottom of the shaft and you'll see what is called a kibble. You can go around and turn a look at the corner. So a kibble is a giant cast iron metal bucket. We'll see another one later on as well. It is a Cornish word for bucket. So guys would jump into that. They would be raised or lowered on a pulley system to get in and out of the mine. So you can imagine riding in that bucket up and down. They'd also put quartz in that bucket to get it out of the mine originally. Later on, when they had the adit finished, they could easily take stuff out of the mine either by ore cart or wheelbarrow. So, linker shaft was actually the most profitable shaft on the entire property. The reason for that is because of vein 4. If you come right here, you can look up into vein 4. Vein 4 is special. It is a roughly 100-yard long vein, so about the length of a football field. And you'll see what's called stole timbers across the walls and ceilings. They used that back then to support the walls instead of all this wood you see today. So you can imagine working in a mine with just that little amount of timber protecting you from cave-ins. All right.